In the soft gold of fading stage lights, two legends pass quietly backstage, bound by a secret that outlived every hit they ever sang. Long before love was declared, and even longer before the world noticed, a young boy stood in quiet awe, holding onto a dream so far-fetched it felt like fiction. He wasn't thinking of fame or fortune. He was thinking of a woman whose voice carried something sacred, something he couldn't name but understood with his whole heart. Marty Stuart was just 12 years old when he decided, without any hesitation, that he would marry Connie Smith. He told people this. He said it like it was fact, not a wish. Most laughed. Some dismissed it outright. And Connie? She didn't even know. But to Marty, it was already written. Quietly, patiently, like a note folded and kept close to the heart. Years would pass, filled with applause, lights, and the endless hum of life on the road. Marty's career would take him alongside giants like Johnny Cash. He'd become a star in his own right. Sharp, bright, dazzling in rhinestones and rhythm. But through it all, that vow stayed quiet in the back of his mind, untouched by the chaos of success. Connie Smith, meanwhile, had already seen the brutal highs and lows of fame. She was 17 years older than Marty, with a complicated past and a private sadness that fame couldn't fix. In the 1970s, she stepped away from the spotlight to raise 5 children and to protect what was left of her spirit. The music industry had taken its toll, especially on women like her. Strong but tired, talented but overlooked, loved but never fully protected. By the time Marty and Connie found themselves together again decades later at a tribute concert, the world had changed. They had changed. But something familiar passed between them. Gentle, respectful, and deeper than the years that had gone by. Marty wasn't that bright-eyed kid anymore. And Connie wasn't the untouchable star. They were equals in silence and sorrow. The connection wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Slowly, over time, their friendship grew into something softer, more private, a kind of love that didn't shout but whispered. How many people do we pass by in life, only to realize much later that they were always meant to stay? For Connie, love had never been easy. She had faced heartbreak, loneliness, and the crushing weight of being a woman in a male-dominated industry. Fame can be cruel, especially to those who carry their pain quietly. Marty saw this. He didn't try to fix it. He just stayed close, offering something rare, protection without condition. He used his own fame not to outshine her, but to gently bring her back into a world that once hurt her. But only on her terms. There was no spotlight, no press tours. Just music, just faith, just time. He became her anchor, the one who listened without asking too much, the one who knew how to be present in silence. Their marriage in 1997 wasn't a fairy tale. It was more like a quiet homecoming after a long and stormy journey. They built a life filled with long stretches of privacy, often retreating to their Tennessee home, far from the demands of the public eye. There, among the relics of country music's past, Marty became something more than a musician. He became a guardian. He collected artifacts, preserved stories, and poured his energy into protecting the history that mattered to him. It wasn't nostalgia. It was love, love for a genre, for its forgotten heroes, and for the woman who had embodied its soul since the day he first heard her sing. Connie wasn't just his wife. She was his inspiration, his guiding light, and the quiet center of everything he did. He didn't just support her. He revered her. Marty recorded her soft hymns, not for charts or sales, but because he wanted to hold on to those moments, their moments. They didn't seek attention. They didn't perform their marriage. They simply lived it, with faith and dignity, holding hands through seasons of joy and sorrow. And through it all, there was a weight they carried together. A sorrow that never made the headlines, a tragedy that was only ever hinted at in hushed interviews and fading glances. Still they endured. Together. Their life wasn't perfect, but it was true. There was a chapel on their property, small and private, where music became prayer and grief found a place to rest. Marty turned down opportunities, big ones, just to keep that peace intact. Not because he couldn't rise higher, but because he already had what mattered. In a world that constantly asked for more, he gave less, and gave it only to the one who had always mattered most. As Marty grew older, his performances changed. The flash softened. The volume lowered. He started ending his shows with stories of legends long gone, names the industry had forgotten, but Marty never did. He wanted people to remember the pain behind the songs, the price that came with the applause. Connie's voice was often there too, Not on the main stage, but in recordings, in soft hymns played like secrets shared only with those willing to truly listen. He didn't need the world to see her. He needed her to be okay. And maybe that's what love really is. Not grand gestures, not perfect timing, but choosing someone again and again, even when no one's looking. Behind closed doors, Connie battled her shadows. Mental health struggles, moments of doubt, and the aching loss of her younger self. Marty never turned away. He held the silence with her. He became the steady rhythm in the background, never overpowering, always present. How many people can say they've been truly seen, truly protected, truly loved in their darkest hour? For Connie, the answer was one. Just one. And in recent years, Marty has begun to speak about all this. Not in tell-alls or viral interviews, but in gentle reflections, in passing words that carry more weight than any award ever could. He talks about love, about reverence, about what it means to keep a promise made when you were 12 years old and no one believed you. He doesn't boast. He honors. And every time he mentions Connie, you can hear it. That quiet ache in his voice, that deep sense of purpose, that undeniable truth that she wasn't just part of his story. She was the reason he kept writing it. There's something deeply moving about a love that unfolds behind the curtain, far from the headlines. A love that endures not because it's easy, but because it's chosen over and over, even in the hard times. Marty and Connie's story isn't just about romance. It's about healing, faith, respect, and the kind of devotion that doesn't fade when the lights go out. Their bond carries the weight of history. Not just in music, but in quiet moments shared, in songs hummed at home, in prayers whispered in a small chapel that no one else sees. When people talk about legacy, they usually mean awards, hit records, or sold-out tours. But Marty Stuart's greatest legacy might be the love he kept safe. Not just the love for a genre, but for a woman who gave it a voice. His life, once filled with glitter and stages, now echoes with something far more profound. The soft, steady rhythm of two hearts that stayed together when it mattered most. So next time you hear Marty speak, listen closely. Not to the words, but to what's behind them. The tenderness. The weight. The quiet pride of a man who fulfilled a vow made in childhood, not for fame or for show, but for love, the kind that never needed an audience. If this story touched your heart, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more untold moments from the lives of country legends. Your support helps us keep these powerful stories alive.